Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I felt like we were overdue for a thrift flip. I feel like sometimes I get an itch to do a thrift flip. I have collected a few things from like past thrift trips that I couldn't find enough to flip, but I would find a piece here or there because that's kind of how thrifting goes. Also, I get tons and tons and tons of questions from you guys about thrifting. What do I look for? How do you even start, or how I find things? So, oh, hi. Oh, yes. Thank you. When I asked you guys over on Instagram what your questions were about thrift shopping or just some more information that I can provide. So throughout the video while we're doing the thrift flips, I'm also going to be answering your questions. Although all of these thrifted finds were found at different times, I have all of the footage for you guys. Basically found a bag of these wooden circles, but when I actually got it home, I found that there were like 2 wall brackets as well. I'm thinking that this is maybe like a curtain rod of some kind, just without the rod. The circles have these little hooks on the end, these gold hooks. I would have had to have been strung on something, so that's why I'm assuming it was like a curtain rod. And I was kind of playing around with the shapes. I thought about maybe cutting them in half in some way and doing something like that, maybe like a wall hook thing for like scarves. I don't know why that was the first thing that came to my mind. So I started kind of stacking them together, turning them upside down, stringing them onto something kind of like in my head. And what they reminded me of were these really cool kind of trendy vases. There's so many of them. I was like, well, I could probably create like a collection of like 3 vases or something. Then we could just make a bottom to them. Especially with something like this, we're not gonna be able to put water in them, right? Because they're wood. But I do. It's like Jenga. So we could make it, oh my gosh. So to glue these together, I'm gonna be using a combination of E6000 glue, which is really strong, but takes a minute to dry. So to hold this glue in place while it dries, I'm gonna put some small dabs of hot glue. Gotta take these little hooks off. You could also reuse these for later too. This is also the strong Gorilla Industrial Glue, so it also helps to bond it really strongly. And I'm just gonna turning it around to make sure that it's all straight before it completely dries. First question, how do you typically get inspo for your thrift flips? I wish I could tell you that I would look on Pinterest and get inspiration. I don't, I just go to the thrift store, look around. I just feel so creative inside a thrift store too, that I'm just browsing the aisles, seeing the possibilities in products, because obviously I don't know what I'm gonna find. I always keep a list on my phone of things that I kind of want to make. Maybe it's something for my coffee table, maybe it's something for my bookshelf. Next question is, what do you generally look for? Again, that depends on what project I'm working on, but there are always categories that I always look at. So one thing that I always buy is or look at is pottery. I'm just a sucker for unique pieces of pottery. Another thing that I always look for are any kind of frames. Obviously, you can see the wall behind me. I feel like you always have use for a good frame. Framing your pictures can get so expensive. All of these, I don't think I paid over $30 for any of these frames, and these are all wooden antique frames. I do browse the furniture, but furniture is not always something that I'm looking for unless I have a spot for it. Also, something I tend to browse are the book sections. I love to find pretty hardback books that are also interesting in content. So anything in art or poetry or design or architecture. But that looks so cool. That's like the small one. We could make a bottom out of clay. I've got some clay around here. Okay, so you guys' next question was, how do you know what's a good price or what is really antique and what's not? I am not going to sit here and tell you that I am knowledgeable about all things value and antiques, because I'm just not. The only advice that I have on that is that I look at something and I look at what it's valued to me at. Like, what do I value this thing at? Can I turn it into something that's valuable to me? Would I love it at the price that's on it? If I like it for $12, I'm gonna buy it for $12. If I'm gonna buy it at $100, if that's what I like. I feel like people get very bogged down on like, is this antique? Is this worth it? It's gonna devalue it for you if you don't feel like it's valuable. I'm also very unique in terms of I don't resell my stuff. I'm not a collector that finds stuff and then sells it as a business. You know, I'm just collecting for my own home. I'm a little bit different in that term. So if you need to know what things are worth, then I would just suggest trying to look it up and search it. I pulled just about every acrylic paint color that I kind of liked. I thought these were so pretty. Like, just it, obviously these are like natural wood, but they look a little aged. Although like I like this color brown, I think like how they look so dated. I think what we're gonna do is the baking soda mixture. You guys are probably like, when is this girl going to stop doing paint and baking soda? It's so easy and it works. So this color is vintage white, honey brown, bamboo, and I feel like it has a little bit of gray in it, which I think we'll need. So equal parts baking soda to paint, but just thick enough to where it doesn't drip. You just gotta experiment with stuff. It's getting too light, so I found this dark taupe color in my stash. So I've been playing around with the paint combinations, layers, what to do first. Look how cool this looks. It looks like an aged pottery of some kind. You see how it's kind of like worn down? I put the gray on first, let it dry just a few minutes, then went back with this kind of more like a terracotta color, then went back with the whitish color, dried just a few minutes. I just took a damp paper towel and kind of rubbed it in. And it kind of took all of that paint off in some places back to the brown undertone. And it looks really cool. So much glassware at the thrift stores. I mean, that may mean, you know, wine glasses or cups for your kitchen or a lot of vases. I was just like, I wish that there were more things that I could come up with creatively to turn glassware into something else. It's a struggle. You know, we've definitely done the baking soda mixture like we just did on glassware. You just rough up the glass a little bit and then paint it so you can turn them into more trendy vases for right now to use with your decor. This was just kind of one that I wanted to throw in because I found these really pretty vases, glass vases at the thrift store. They were $1.99 each. And I've always loved when people do like propagation walls, or they have like a little propagation like station on their windowsill or something like that. So I've always wanted to kind of do them. These were probably not propagation vases at one time, but now they're going to be. This is just more of an encouragement. If you do see any glassware that are in pretty shapes, use them for that. Use them for propagation, or try and come up with something creative that you can do with glassware, because there's just so much of it. I'm struggling to keep plants alive in general, so this, you know, maybe I may struggle a little bit more than this, and I'm gonna be doing lots more research on propagation in general. I just wanted to recommend, if you do find glassware and you do find pretty shapes, maybe this is something that you can turn them into. next project, I never look in the soft goods section, like where the blankets and pillows and bedspreads and things are. I never look there because I think for a long time I've been like, that was like a no-no buy for me. I was like, I don't know, that's weird, I don't want it. But I was like, you know what, I need to broaden my horizons. So I ended up looking at this one thrift store that we went to, and I found this cute little tapestry. Does anyone know specifically what area this is? Like with all of the pretty colors. It's just so cute. I was like, what is this? What is happening? So I got it for $1.99. I had a lot of thoughts. Initially, I was like, well, we could kind of build around it. A tapestry, like the centerpiece for a tapestry, maybe macrame around it. And I was like, no, that doesn't look right. This would be so cute actually framed, like a framed tapestry. And here's some inspiration pictures that I've seen online that look really pretty, the kind of like the idea that I'm going for. With thrift flips, I love to use scraps or materials that I already have on hand, but I always save like scrap wood that I've kind of either messed up, a cut, and use again. It wouldn't have glass, obviously. I'm not a big fan of glass anyways. It's such a glare sometimes. So if we didn't miter them here, it would actually give us more space. So I have a piece of plywood, and instead of measuring and all that stuff, I'm just gonna lay it on top, and then we'll mark with a pencil where I need to cut this plywood with my circular saw. And all of these pieces of wood are the exact same size. I messed up on 4 pieces. I cut these wrong 4 times. So I'm cutting the plywood on those lines with my circular saw, and then to actually assemble the pieces of wood for our quote unquote frame, I'm just using these little bitty wire brads. I don't have a nail gun yet, but I will very soon. I'm just using these brad nails and hammering in probably about 5 to 6 of them on each side. So this will attach that frame to the backing, which is the plywood. And I like to, sometimes when I'm not sure on a stain color, I like to sample it out on the wood that I'm actually going to be using for a project. So I tested out 3 first, then I went back and added more. So this is all of the wood stains that I have in my stash. And I think what I'm going to go with is this darker color that's on the top, which is Jacobean, and I always say that wrong, I know, Jacobean. But I only want it on the actual frame, not on the backing. So I think I want some kind of contrast. So I'm gonna go back with just a paint. I have this Benjamin Moore paint called Linen White in my stash that I think will add like a really nice background for our tapestry. So I'm gonna give this 2 coats on the back. So I let this dry overnight. I do like it, but I think what it's doing is lending a little to maybe farmhouse, maybe that like dark wood, light white contrast, which is not normally like specifically my style. You know what I think I would like is if the background of this was painted this color, a little more tan, a little more dulled down. I think it would warm it up a little bit. I love this natural tan color in the breakfast area. I actually love it more than the color that's in the rest of my house. I kind of ironed out the bottom. I can't get this part to lay down though. It just keeps wanting to curl. When I was showing my mom my projects that I was working on, she had an idea to, instead of gluing it, to actually use some tacks. So I have these leftover furniture tacks. They're like bronze colored. They look really similar to the frame. I think that actually, my mom's got some really good ideas. It'd be cool to kind of have it a little bit freeform. And then on the back to hang it up, take one of these picture hanging teeth hammer-in things. And I found the center of the back of the picture. And then you're just gonna put this right on top and hammer it in. For our next project, this thing. This accent chair I found at the thrift store. I had a 25% off coupon, so it was marked $75, 25% off, I think it was around $56. $56 for a rattan accent chair. I don't know if I could have walked out of that thrift store and not been mad at myself. I had to have it. So it's a little different than a rattan chair I found before. This one actually swivels. It's actually kind of apart because to fit it in my car, I had to take it apart. I had to take the bottom off. Right when I got home, I threw these in the washer and dryer on high water temperature and high heat, so that it was all clean and sterilized, and it was just like fine. And the reason I cleaned them is because I want to use the stuffing and make new cushions for this. Then I just want to make like a small one here and then just clean up the cane itself and leave it as is. This leftover fabric, it's umbrella fabric actually, which is more durable. Most of the time you use them for outdoor furniture. I used this on my patio chairs back in the springtime when we did those. It's not pure white, but it's just a light neutral. And the great thing about keeping the cushions to stuff is that you already have the template. I'm gonna cut it open. I'm gonna take the stuffing out. We're gonna double layer our new fabric so that we can just cut the cushion once and lay the old cushion shape on top of that and cut it out and use it as a template. I'm gonna add a 1/2 inch all the way around the circle so that I can have enough seam allowance to put it together, to sew it together. It's really just for running one stitch and leaving a little hole at the bottom so that we can restuff it and hand stitch it closed. How many thrift stores do you go to in a day and how often? So I really do make a whole day out of thrift shopping. I'll go from like right when they start to open, maybe around 9 a.m. all day until they close. And what I do is I open my maps on my phone and I type in thrift stores near me and I literally go to every single one of them. Do you ever get frustrated when you go to multiple stores and can't find anything? I mean, it's definitely sad when you don't find anything that you really like. I can tell you it's rare that I don't find at least one thing because I am going to like 9 thrift stores in one day. I go into it knowing you don't know what to expect. You don't know if you're gonna find anything. So I don't like get my hopes up that I'm gonna find this amazing piece every time. So I think you have to think of it like that. Do you prefer flea markets or thrift stores? I think I like them for different reasons. Thrift store, I also think of them differently. So flea markets for me is more about finding unique things that I know I'm not going to be able to find anywhere. Sometimes I'll find some furniture maybe that I can redo or something, but it's not like thrift stores where I go in and I can find an ordinary product that I can make special. I can find things like that at thrift stores too. They're just a little different. It's more like everyday items that people have donated. The flea markets aren't like that. These are things that people are actually selling that they've hung on to. So it's a little different. The products are a little different. Okay, so here's our thing. I'm kind of not liking it, if I'm being completely honest. I think it would just look so much more expensive and actually like it kind of fit better if there was actually a bottom, a top, and then a band. It just looks more expensive. It looks more like, this looks like a pillow. You're sitting on a pillow, a round pillow. I guess I was so distracted by the print that I didn't really realize that it really isn't the right size for this. Like, if I shove this all the way over, it should be another like good 5 inches, and I made it the same size. Let's see if we can get this spinner off. Let me move on because I'm getting a little discouraged. So I feel like it's really just these. Yeah. How cool would this be as a little coffee table? I don't know, maybe I should rethink this chair. You know, sometimes projects evolve. All of this is a lot. I think it would look so cute as like a set so that this becomes just a chair with some really pretty feet. I could even probably look at the cane store. Obviously we're on lockdown right now, so I can't find a lot right now. And then there's this situation. That does not look good. It needs to have a band around the side. Maybe you guys can even help me with this one. What do you think? In the comments, let me know if I should keep it as a chair with this as the bottom, or if you like the other idea of the top becoming its own chair with new legs and then this becoming some kind of like coffee table. I feel like it could be like a really cute sunroom set. So let me know what you would do with this thrift flip, and then maybe we'll work on it for a little more, and you guys will see it come to life in the next video. So I hope you guys enjoyed these thrift flips, and I hope it inspires you in 2021 to kind of get into thrifting or do more thrifting and just be creative about what you can turn them into. I hope you guys are having an amazing holiday season. This is officially my last video of 2020. I've decided to take 1 week just to refresh my mind creatively and process all of the amazing things that are going to come in 2021. I cannot wait to share this new chapter with you guys, this new chapter on the channel for content, this new chapter in my life, in our lives. So I hope you guys have a wonderful new year. I will see you guys again on the 3rd of January. And as always, if you did like this video, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, because you're not going to want to miss what's coming next. No hints. Just, you're not going to want to miss it. Wish them a Merry Christmas. No, you say, oh, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Give everybody a kiss. Kiss them. Oh. Also, we're still posting over on the vlog channel, so if you don't already follow my vlog channel, you get to see a lot more of this, what's happening here. Yeah, I'll leave it linked. Bye guys.